What's going on, everybody? It's October 25th, 2022. Daily episode log number 37. Today we're going to cover US 500, and there was probably only one opportunity that we could have went long on. I was waiting until the news unfolded, but there was a really nice setup right before it. I wanted to look at the daily time frame because I think looking at price and how we've been continuing this bullish trend here, I believe we could draw up into this fair value gap resting at 39.67 and then 40.67. So right in that region there. The reason I'm saying that is because it's inside of a premium. So overall on this daily dealing range here, from the dealing range high all the way down on the dealing range low, we're sitting just about EQ. And I believe we can retrace back up into this premium, and then we can maybe, obviously start looking for shorts and continue overall being bearish on this. I'm not saying that's going to happen, obviously this week or next week, but that can play out over a course of a couple weeks here. So I'm going to be looking for longs, obviously depending on structure, but I have this volume imbalance marked out. These two down close candles are your order block. So let's see if we can reach down into here before maybe heading higher. But let's go into today. So if you guys remember, I talked about the remaining portion of this fair value gap. It's actually from this high here all the way up to that low. But this is just the remaining portions of the fair value gap. I was looking to see if we could, come in and fill that. Buy side liquidity is resting at 39.20, relative equal highs. When we get up here, I'll start annotating it. But we just punched up right up into it during New York session, so it's really nice to see. Looking at the 1 hour, really wasn't much here. I believe yesterday we talked about how we ran out the buy side liquidity resting there. 1 hour, there really wasn't anything to note, just the relative equal highs resting there. Same thing on the 4 hour. So let me go down to, I think the 15-minute gives a really nice view of what was happening this morning. So I'm going to roll it back to here. Coming into New York session, right before the open, price looked like this. So I annotated in the morning, the buy side liquidity resting here at 38.12. And then I annotated the sell stops being ran from overnight. So if we look at the midnight open here, drop down, set the low of the day, run out sell stops. There was SMT divergence with US 30 and US 100 signaling bullish divergence. We go down to a 5-minute. Same thing here. Sell stops being ran underneath there. Wasn't anything significant in here for me to really go long. There was a small fair value gap here, displaced higher above the high there. But to me, I want a little bit better displacement and a little bit more information. I think that's too early to really want to go long, but it is something to note. So coming into the open, I noted this was the best setup overall. So we have the buy side liquidity resting there. So we just barely tagged it, and this is before news, so right about, probably right at news, maybe a minute or two. Yeah, about 5 minutes before. So I talked about yesterday how I like market structure shifts on a 5-minute. So we displaced above this high here. We have a closure above. We have a nice buy side liquidity target. And prior to this, remember we ran out the sell stops. So that's our first piece of the puzzle. We get our market structure shift. There's a fair value gap resting there. And if you go down to a 4-minute, same thing. 3-minute, same thing. 2-minute, fair value gap, and then the 1 minute. Okay, so even the 2 minutes really, really nice. If you take from this dealing range low all the way up to the dealing range high there, price dips into a discount. So you could add your limit, set it maybe the EQ of the fair value gap there, or just underneath discount. Could add your stop loss beneath the dealing range low for about 7 points, and then you'd be targeting the buy side liquidity above there, which is only about 8 points, but you could go fully to probably 20 points. I know price ran extremely far today, so I think that was a really nice trade. A lot of speed, a lot of volatility. I mean, that happened in a span of almost 4 minutes, 5 minutes. So those are the trades you really want to see. Fast, volatile. Let me see how we ended the day. So we actually had an opening gap. Let me check ES. So it did have the opening gap as well. So pay attention to that. See how we use that going into probably London session overnight. Could possibly fill this and then run lower. There's some sell side resting underneath 37.78, and then yesterday's low. We are resting inside of this BISI here, so we could continue higher. I'll update in the morning what's going on, and until tomorrow, good luck and good trading.